the final panel.
Topic is design process, path to project success. We'll explore how innovative design directly impacts the profitability and success of hospitality projects. From improving operational efficiency to changing guest satisfaction, the design process plays a critical role in maximizing returns and creating competitive advantages in the hospitality sector. Moderating this insightful discussion is Dr. Fatih Tokatlı, Deputy General Manager of Indigo Group. Hoş geldiniz. And the panelists are Tom Dixon, designer, Design Research Studio, which we already heard him on the stage. Haldun Kilit, Chairman of the Board, AHK Worldwide. Hoş geldiniz. Andrew Linwood, Head of Hospitality and Business Development, Areen Design. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
Hello, sir.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Fatih Bey,
We're already
söz
mic'd
sizde.
up. Teşekkür ederim.
Okay, please.
We have 40 minutes and I think we will be meeting that deadline. And I have the honor to lead the day's last panel at this time. And where is Hale? And I thank my fellow successor Hale for this privilege to be on the very last panel. I do have, again, the privilege to have with us today Tom Dixon, Haldun Kilit, and Andrew Linwood, and I am going to be shortly introducing them. But I think I don't need to introduce Tom here. We have just heard about his keynote presentation, and I can only emphasize how proud we are today to have you both during the keynote and in this panel. It's truly a privilege, Tom. And Tom leads the Design Research Studio, as has been just emphasized, and we have had a glimpse into his work in a very diverse universe of design. And next, Haldun Kilit, actually we really know him very well. He has been all over the hospitality business, both through his professional background and his family background. And he has been all over hospitality, and he is by profession an interior designer. And one thing that I'm very proud of is that he's a fellow Bill Kent University graduate, which I am always very, very proud to emphasize, just like me. And he has, as I said, he has been in all aspects of design process, from FFE to hotel operation. And next is Andrew Linwood from Areen Design. It's an architectural design company, and Andrew has a more than 35 years experience. He's by profession an interior designer, and he is involved, especially in very large scale successful projects in the MENA region. He is involved and he monitors all aspects of a project from conception through to site installation, which is, I think, he's very capable, he's very experienced about the entire chain. Now I'd like to start with Tom, and as I said, I want to pose a blunt question. What is a well-designed hotel from a designer's perspective?
I mean, probably one where you didn't realize it had been designed. I mean, sometimes I think design overdoes it a lot, and the role of design is quite a difficult subject to pin down, because it involves sometimes engineering, sometimes decoration, sometimes communication, and the designer's role is really to tie all of these elements together in a seamless way, and really, I think, be in the background of making an amazing experience for the guest.
And let's say, if can there be a conflict or between functionality and aesthetics? That's if it is so, let's say, simple.
I don't know. I don't think there should be a conflict between aesthetics and functionality. In a way, if something is properly designed, it normally is aesthetically beautiful. Often people think of design as another layer on top of an object, you know, like to make it more beautiful. In fact, design used to be called decorative arts 100 years ago, like you're adding decoration onto an industrial object. But the reality is now, I think people, if you can see the function, if it's built to last, if it's made to work properly, it will normally be pretty beautiful just in itself. So I think that's the job of the designer, is to kind of give shape to things and make them easier to use. And then making them pretty will come as a byproduct of that, maybe.
Maybe, Andrew, I can, let's say, pick from there, and I may pose the same question, more or less the same question to you.
Tom's answered everything already.
Sorry?
Tom's answered everything.
Oh, sorry.
But can you, let's say, indicate from your experience, let's say, examples of good design where we have a good guest experience, let's say, good operational efficiency, let's say, at the result of a well-designed process, good design process?
Well, obviously, all of our projects are beautifully designed. But what you're looking at, I mean, Tom has answered it. To make something that works properly.
Can you speak a little louder?
I can hear myself. Can everybody else hear me?
Yes.
Okay. To make something that's well designed, you've got to answer the needs of the user. If we're talking about hotels, the needs of the guest, the needs of the owner, and the needs of the operator. And it's our job as designers to bring these often conflicting interests together. But in our company, in Areen, we're not afraid of kind of getting in the ring with the architect or the engineer or whoever it might be and tell them that they've got something wrong. So, you know, I've seen so many examples of towers that have been proposed as hotels with a ballroom on the 25th floor or something. It's just crazy. And you say, how are you going to get 2,000 people up to that top floor? And they haven't thought about it. So although we're just interior designers, you know, cushions and curtains, but we're quite prepared to have an argument with whoever else is on the consultants team and get them to put things right. And I think that's how you end up with good design. I can give you specific examples, but we just finished a Fairmont in Cairo for Accor, who are here somewhere, and we persuaded the architect to relocate where they were going to put the restaurants, because they had them up here, and you're going to get people in to come like that, and like that, and like that, and like that, to get to a restaurant, which was next door to some guest rooms. I mean, that's just crazy. So we got them to put it on the ground floor, but it was quite a fight to get them to do that.
Maybe I should come to another point from there. There are factors coming in from whether you are designing the hotel under an international brand or whether it's an own brand. It can be whether it's a luxury or it's a lifestyle, the destination, let's say the location of the hotel. So if you have to, this is posed to both Tom, all three of you. If you have to, let's say, concede from one thing, you have a spectacular spot, and that's an own brand hotel, and the owner wants you to use the landscape, but you have to concede from the operational efficiency. So what's your choice? What would be your choice?
What's the question?
The question is, do you really have to always take the operational efficiency dimension?
Oh, absolutely. It's got to work. If you're building a hotel like this Raffles and it's costing millions of dollars, it's got to work for the people that are running it, for the staff that are working here, and for the guests. It's all got to work. And the guests don't want to see behind the scenes to see how that's all working. You might have the best air conditioning system in the world, but they don't see any of that. So it's got to work operationally. I think that's a prerequisite. I don't know what my colleagues on the panel would say, but yeah, it's got to work.
So there can be no concession on that.
There can be concessions, right? But I think if it doesn't work, you know, one of the things we do when we finish a hotel, we go back, we talk to the bar staff, the kitchen staff, the guests, and find out which bit was most successful and which bits didn't work. So we try and learn from every project. So I don't think you want to concede on quality. If you're paying $500 a night, you expect the thing to work properly.
Would you like to join on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's better for me to continue because the sharings are similar, the same. Of course, it depends on the concept. It depends on the expectations of the investor, operator, many game changers in our play, let's say. All the things depends on even the operators are different. Expectations are different. Some operators are looking for the income from the restaurants. Some operators are looking for the bed income. So it is a game changer in the projects. Yeah.
Sure. And from there, I would like to proceed to FFE dimension with you, Haldun Bey. So selecting the FFE and how should the investors and as a team together can we ensure and how can the developer pay attention to finding the right balance? So the developer has to find the right balance, and how can we guide them to bring them to the right point in terms of the brand image, brand requirements, experience, guest experience, longevity. So all developers, investors sometimes focus overly on one of these or other things.
Thank you very much for the invitation, first of all, Dr. Tokatlı. So great platform, and thank you for the Tourism Investment Forum for this organization. It's also great to have you, Mr. Tom and Mr. Andrew, here in Turkey. Welcome. Around 30 years, I'm in a hospitality business as an interior designer, interior contractor, manufacturer, and at the same time as an investor. So my point of view always, I'm sometimes in the backside of the other table. In MENA region, around 20 years ago, we started in Dubai, and then after that, we carry our experience to CIS countries. Then Europe, we are now going on interior contracting projects. Every region teach us their culture, differences of execution of the business, because expectations are, because of the culture, even the design expectations, contracting expectations, process is totally different. In the world of hospitality, FF&E is more than furnishing. It is a critical component that shapes the guest experiences, operational efficiency, and overall identity of a hotel. Furniture, fixture, and equipment in a hospitality business is likely to focus on the sustainability, adaptability, and the personalization. The main topics are FF&E must be your vision and your brand. For the FF&E, main topics can be also the eco-friendly design, smart connected technology with AI, especially last years, it's very important in the business. Modular flexible design, personalized experience, durability, low maintenance, high traffic areas, and the comfort of accessibility, technology-driven the procurement design, and cost efficiency are the most topic. Yeah.
Did you supply any of this furniture before I insult it?
Here? Yeah. No, we did the spa of this hotel. Yeah, we did.
Because, you know, talking about durability,
yeah.
when I was talking with Fatih yesterday, I gave the example, outside here in the lobby, you've got white sofas.
Yeah.
Now, I'd never spec a white sofa in a public area in a hotel. I think that's just a mistake.
Even
from the
there will
start.
be maintenance or anything,
Housekeeping will
any
be out there
protection.
twice a day. They won't thank
Yeah.
you for that, right? Sorry to interrupt, but
I'm
it's
sure
just,
they're not saying thank you, but
Yeah.
at the end, of course, it's a design process. I'm sure there's a protection on the fabric, special protection. But
well, this is leather. You can clean it, but why not just spec something that doesn't need that cleaning every day? I'm
Yeah.
sure Tom doesn't
But
do that in
at
his
the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. Sometimes you have to, especially on the operational efficiency side, you have to concede from some things to be different.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to make sacrifices. That's why I had
all
made
the
that
investors also talking about sustainability, but are we doing a sustainability and really we are focusing it or not? I'm not sure about it, because it depends on using the recycle wood, recycle materials in the projects. I'm not sure everybody's using or not. Choosing the
Well, if you
fixtures.
go to Saudi Arabia and propose using recycled wood, they just think you haven't got the money to do it properly.
Yeah,
So it's like
exactly.
using a flamed granite finish. They just think you didn't polish it properly. So
exactly.
It's
Also,
different cultural aspect.
choosing energy efficient technologies in the projects, selecting manufacturers. The most important thing is this: selecting manufacturers and suppliers who are ethically representing, respecting the world in sustainable practices. Sustainability is not longer than a trend. It is a necessity for the modern hospitality design for now and for the future. Also, about FF&E, if I want to continue, about the collaboration with the experts, designers, and the brands. With the artists also is very important. Designers and artists focus on the aesthetic and the guest expectations. Procurement teams are doing the cost efficiency and time delivery. Operators provide the practical usability and the durability of the project. So we must remember that FF&E choices are not about filling spaces. They're about creating experiences, telling stories, and leaving impressions. At the end, transform a hotel as a destination. I mean, I see FF&E as a sculpture, really. I mean,
Yes.
all the FF&Es in the area, it must be a sculpture.
Adding a character, that's becoming part of the character. But maybe I'm going to come back, Andrew, and in your view, what's a good, well-designed hotel? I'm going to repeat that question as I have posed to Tom.
Well, I think Halden just touched on it. And Tom, you talked about it earlier, I think, in your presentation. It's a team effort, right? I mean, here we've got essentially a product designer, a contractor, and an interior designer. We all do different things apart from those core skills. And you don't know what everybody can do unless you talk to people. And you and I talked about it the other day, that the success of a hotel is having first of all, a good professional team that have done it before, know what they're doing, and secondly, that we all talk to each other. You need a good project manager, someone like you, someone who doesn't just act as a post box, that they get something in from here and send it out to everybody else on the panel, but is actually keeping an eye on things and making sure we're all, as we say in the UK, singing
managing
from
the
the same
conflict.
song sheet. Sorry?
And managing the conflicts.
Yeah.
All over the
And then you find out what other people can do as well. As I say, everyone's got other skills that don't necessarily fit the core skill set.
Yes, but again, we are talking about a seamless process where we have very experienced people, very well doing their job, knowing what they're doing. Maybe, Tom, again, I would like to ask this question to you. Which one would you prefer? You have a perfect team. You are proposed to design a hotel. One is in a city location, a very good location. The zoning is made, everything is there, and you are asked to let's say design a luxury hotel under an international brand. And on the other hand, again, you have a very good team. but it's an own brand design development. It's in a very exotic location, but the design process will take longer, you know. There will be conflicts, but you know that the end product will be much more attractive, much more successful. Which is the process are you going to take place?
That is such a complicated question.
Which one?
Hang on, let me just
for which
distill-
one are you going to put your time?
Say, would I rather work for creating a new brand or work for an international? Well, what's kind of interesting, you know, looking around over there is that even the big brands are trying to do boutique brands. They're trying to create niche brands to fill a specific or to target a specific customer. So this idea, there's a distinction between you know, inventing a brand and working for a big corporation probably doesn't exist so much anymore. Everybody's trying to be unique now. I think what's happening is that there's an evolution in the business where previously everything was trying to be homogenous, an experience that you could get internationally, a McDonald's experience, you know, where people wanted to find what they could get back home where they were traveling. That's completely reversed now. I think people want to be unique. It's much more exciting for a designer to work on something which is new and fresh rather than working within brand guidelines. And I think the traveler is becoming more and more keen on finding a unique experience which is tied into a place. And I think that's also in city centres as well, by the way. I think it's a real shame that everything looks like it's been designed by international designers. I think even as a British designer, if I was working in Turkey, I'd be wanting to extract the Turkishness out of, you know, even if it's not necessarily the antique Turkishness, but the future Turkishness of a place, right? Because I think that's why people travel now. They travel to get a new experience, right? So I think that the question doesn't really work for me anymore, because even if it was in the city centre, even if it was working for a big brand, I'd be wanting to make something unique out of the project. If I understood the question right.
Yeah,
I think
got-
big
I got
brands now are open to that as well, right? I mean, they will. We're always trying to push the boundaries with the big brands, and they're open to it. That's why they hire designers like us here to do that kind of thing.
Well, it's difficult because obviously the you know, from an operational perspective, which is what you're talking about, efficiency comes
It's
with
got to work, yeah.
with, you know, doing multiples and reproducing cookie cutting projects, right?
Yeah.
But I think the discerning travel, the person that's prepared to pay a bit more, is going to want something which has got a freshness about it and a sense of arriving in a new location.
Yeah. Yeah, building on Tom's point, you know, we do the big box hotels like this, and we do
Sorry,
big box
Yeah.
hotels, and we do small lifestyle boutique hotels, and we kind of look on them. The big box hotels are the Hollywood blockbusters of our industry, and they make the money for us. And then we can do a little art project. We did a 70-key lifestyle hotel in Nairobi. Well, we didn't make any money out of it, but we won all kinds of awards. And as you said, Tom, the designers loved it. Right? It gives them something they can get their teeth into, do good work, and have fun doing it. You know?
And that brings me to local culture and, let's say, and environmental factors. And of course, there is not a recipe, but you already have kind of replied that Tom, but both Haldun Bey and Andrew. So, yes, there is another formula, but how much does this weigh in your design efforts? And of course, it depends on the project, but
Yeah, it depends on the project, depends on the client, depends on the operator, all of these things. But as I said at the beginning of the conversation, it's our
or
job
let's
to
say
bring these interests together.
how much would you fight for it?
We fight. We fight for our corner. If we think we're right, we fight for it, as I'm sure these guys do when they're doing it, whether it's a fit out or if you're designing a new light fitting or whatever it is. Tom, I'm sure you want to make sure it complies with your vision, right?
Indeed.
Haldun Bey?
Yeah, I want to talk about the art a little bit, how we can combine
And
together
yes,
in art and FF&E.
That's something I'd like to hear about from you, and then from both of you as well.
Yeah,
Maybe as the last round, I can give you this,
Many panels is done from the investors, hotel operators. Just today, in one panel, they talk about arts, which must be the part of hospitality. He's the one that 20 years supporting the art, Ali Gureli, contemporary art, founder, chairman, talk about it. Many products, all the operators talking about the health tourism, how they can develop more and put new products to their hospitality business. But really, art is something, as I mentioned, the well-designed FF&E pieces can be art also in the hotel. Importance of art is shaping the hospitality industry for tomorrow. The art is a storyteller by itself. Art is giving a message to the world.
Sure.
Emotional impact of art is also important. Supporting local artists and also the communities, interactive art experiences. Art is differentiating you from the other investments. Sustainability in artist impression. Economic value of the art is the part of hospitality also. When we look to future, the role of art in hospitality will grow beyond the aesthetics to become a defining element to the guest experience. Art will no longer to be seen as an additional in the hospitality, but as an essential part of it.
But it often is.
Yeah.
In projects, right? It's the last thing on the budget that gets cut.
Yeah.
Because they've
Like
spent it on
FF&E,
other
I'm really getting very nervous when even many brands hotel, I did as a contractor, a Bulgaria hotel in Dubai. The last project was Atlantis, Royal Atlantis. When it comes to FF&E packages, they are going for value engineering. Even such a prestigious billion-dollar projects, which is not right, you know. FF&E is the most important part. You can do value engineering in many cover materials. You can choose a different color, similar color, can give the similar effect. But when it comes to FF&E, they're cutting the budget.
Yeah.
After the FF&E, there's no budget to art.
Yeah. But that's what the guests see and touch and feel.
First place.
But I have a motto
Yeah.
now. This year's motto for me, I'm building a sculpture parks, which I started in Dubai Financial Center. It's our third year. You don't have to visit museums to see world-class art anymore.
Yeah.
The hotels, hospitality areas can be a museum. For example, the Royal Atlantis, not Royal Atlantis, the Atlantis Hotel Dubai, the first one which they did a very huge Murano glass artwork sculpture, which is from Dale Chile, the American artist. They're taking the video or photos of the building, but at the same time, when I enter from the lobby, we are giving huge pictures from this masterpiece there, which happened also the Max Royal. The Bodrum is a new project. Bernard Venet, the French artist. When you look from the seaside, you cannot imagine how it is looking a very iconic artwork there. And Bernard Venet in this video, he's telling in a YouTube video, I watch it, he's saying, I am Jewish, I am Muslim, I am Christian, I am human. Because art is universal, you know, without any region. He's telling a good story. And also, I can give an example how we can combine different nations together. As a Turkish, I have a gallery in Dubai. My Dubai gallery represents a South African artist. And last month, we were in the Art Egypt between 12 international artists together, represent our South African artists. 4 different countries come together. So it is interesting to bring the people together because art is a medicine.
Yeah.
And thank you for Asash for their support. Just a small, Asash is producing now many artists, more than 30 international artists, sculptures here, and we are exporting it to the worldwide. It is very cost efficiency support to people can reach to art, to touch the art, feel the art. Thank you.
Have you done projects like that, Andrew?
Well, all of our projects, the art element is important, and we'll fight for that. But it's not the only way to bring an intrinsic sense of the culture of the place into the building, into the hotel.
Yeah.
So, for example, we're doing a lot of work in Saudi at the moment. We've done extensive research into Najdi architecture, which is only one of the vernacular architectures in Saudi. Those of you that know Saudi will know they've got 3 or 4 different local architectural styles. And we've got a book like that in the studio of all the research that we've done into Najdi architecture. We find a way to work that into the forms, into the patterns of the carpets, into the wall paneling, not just the artwork. It's the same when we work in East Africa, for example. We're doing a resort project down on the coast where the local fishermen have these beautiful fishermen's baskets. And we've used those skills to inform our designs for the canopies on the beach club and even on the architecture of the villas.
So you're streamlining it into
Well, we're
the
taking
design
those
elements.
intrinsic values.
Weaving
Tom, you
it.
mentioned it, right? Taking those values of place and bringing it into the interiors. So art is very important, but you can do a lot more with it, and using the local fabrics. Tom, I think you mentioned the local stone where you were working in Oz. So I think that's how you do it.
And also, I want to touch one subject. If Tom,
Tom, do
you
you
will continue.
have anything on that?
I want to touch one subject which is important because everybody is talking about in a hospitality business who is operating your hotel. Okay, operation is very important. There are many operation groups. Name of the hotel. It can be a local name or it can be a brand name. But the most important thing is from us, our artists, our architects, our designers, we need to, how can I say, bring your name, their name on the top.
Yep.
Why? Because it's a big effort. I mean, all the design things, nobody's talking about the furniture. Everybody's talking about the food in hospitality. Everybody's talking about how many nights they will stay, how much money we will get. It's the vision to be a part of designers and artists work together, put their brands in the market to the hospitality, and you'll see how big competition it will be to people, motivate them to develop more and more, you know.
At the end,
I offer him inside, Tom, we will start the Tom Dixon Hotels, managed by Marriott, managed by Accor.
well, managed by
It will not be
White
Accor
brand.
Hotel, it will be a Tom Dixon Hotel managed by Accor, right?
Absolutely.
And that brings actually, yes, so you were saying.
No, I thought that was a fantastic idea. Thank you.
But again, this I want to emphasize this. Well, we say we seem to agree on the fact that with a well-designed hotel doesn't seem like to be designed, but at the end of the day, if when we look around, especially in the last 10 years, 10 to 15 years, we have more interest by people where they can. They want to have this experience to be in one of those places, not those boxy hotels, however luxury they are, not those boxy hotels, but those lifestyle places, and where where we have the design element, design signature much more emphasized in those. And let's say we talk a lot about operational efficiency, but those hotels are the ones that we may consider conceding from the operational efficiency, certain aspects of operational efficiency, but at the end of the day, they end up beating those boxy luxury hotels. Would you agree with me?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes
Why
and no,
yes, why you no?
But, you know, let
No,
me give you-
I'm talking about financial performance at the end of the day.
Well, that goes back to it's got to be efficient, right? But it has to be efficient in order to perform so that the owner makes money, the operator makes money, and they only do that if the guests are happy, and they tell all their friends and come back. So the starting point has to be you satisfy the requirements of the guests. It's more complicated than that because you've got to get the brief right in the beginning and find out who are these guests and why are they coming to this particular place and what do they want from it. Guests these days want experiences, not just a hot and cold shower and a TV. They want far more. You know, the hotel that we did in Cairo, the Fairmont, is not in the old city. It's in a brand new city in the desert outside. Now, how do you construct a narrative around that, which we did? You can't just hang up pictures of camels and pyramids, right? You know, you've got to do more than that. So we created a whole narrative around why this hotel was there and why it had come to exist. And we created a book like that so that our design teams can always refer back to it to say, okay, this is the design of our room. How does it compare to the original idea, which everyone signed off on? The owner, the operator, all the team, they've all signed off on that. So that's how we're protecting the interests of all the parties, I guess.
Yeah. And that's a very good point. Any last words, Tom, Haldun?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the job of the designer is, you know, is multifaceted. One important thing we haven't talked about really is future-proofing and, you know, thinking ahead. I think the job really of the architect and the interior designer is also trying to propose a vision of the near future, right? You're working 2 years in advance often, and you know, things change all the time. You know, the onset of I keep on talking about social media, because mainly the behavior of customers has changed completely in terms of how they choose where to go and why they want to travel there. So the designer has to be, you know, looking into the future. The designer has to be future-proofing the thing by making things that are sustainable because they're built to last, possibly because they improve with age, which is something which has kind of gone out of fashion, you know, so that the patina and the things actually start improving, which means convincing the client to spend a bit more on materiality, on functionality, whilst all the time making it future-proof for technology as well. And then, you know, the invisible part of what the designer is doing, which is, you talk a lot about operational efficiency because you clearly come, you know, it sounds like you've got a project in mind here with a lot of your questions, but the designer's work often is completely invisible. It's about, you know, I've just worked with Vitra, the Turkish bathroom firm. There, the talk is often about how you save water, which then saves cost, right? You know, air conditioning is like overused in hotels now, so, you know, there's an energy cost there. So I think there's an efficiency piece which is invisible. There's a future piece which is really interesting in terms of our jobs to try and predict how people will behave and what they will want as well. And then there's the changing landscape in terms of how people travel, which I think we should all be really conscious of why people will want to go to this resort or this hotel that you're creating.
And if I may, actually, thank you very much for all your contributions, and maybe I would like to make a synthesis of our nice, great panel. Let your designer future-proof your hotel, especially looking into the longevity and functionality of the design and the design elements, and work with good people, what they are doing, who knows what they are doing, and who have done before what they are going to propose doing for you.
Yes.
And then take care of the process very well. Manage the process very well. And Haldun Bey says, be careful with your FFE because your clients, your guests are experiencing them at the first hand, and integrate a little more artwork and integrate that into your design so that you're going to be ahead for the next 20, 30 years. And that's your advice for the investors, I guess.
Yeah, by the way, the operators, really, I mean, they will hate me today, but think about it. Accor has over than 5,000 hotels.
Yeah.
And I guess so 120 countries, different countries.
Yeah.
Think about it. We open one restaurant or well-designed Tom Dixon lounge there. And they put in there some hotels. I'm talking about there will be 50 or 60 different countries. There will be Tom Dixon lounge.
Yeah.
Think about the value, what it put to
And
the
think out
hotel,
of the box.
Hotel. Yes, of course.
Do all these things and think out of the box.
I think, Tom, you've got a new business advisor. Sign him up.
Tom done?
Yeah. PR, marketing and sales.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your time and for contributions.
Thank you,
a lot.
Fatih.
It's been excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Most welcome. Thank you.